I've been researching here while I'm in Lakesh this distinction between doing and making. And we learn in modern culture to be doers. And the doers come from a point of origin of results and productivity and quantity. Like they're measures. We learn to have measures of, and I'm doing it enough, and I'm giving it enough. And then even when possibility management, what I notice in myself is that I relate with creation as doing. Like I'm not doing enough rage clubs, or I'm not doing enough articles, or not doing enough websites about my creations. I'm not sharing enough. It's a place of scarcity. And by being community and living in a state of presence, I'm discovering creation as a state of presence and awakening. It's like, is the action of being awaked. And then creation happens as a hurricane or emergence. Like one example is just that I at the table during the lunch, and then someone like we had this move yesterday of mango, and then the two people that went first bought a lot in their pot, and then Leslie felt angry, and then she said, I feel angry because I want that people that are not here, that they also have this move of mango. And I noticed that it stayed hanging because she did not use her anger to talk directly to these people, or to ask something, or to move energy in the space. And then in that point, I stopped. I had this impulse and I did not know what would come, but something was weird in me, was icky. And then I stopped her and I said, stop, there's something hanging. It's like you used your anger, but you did not make a proposal, or you did not move the energy in the space. So will you do over and move the energy? And for example, talk directly to these two people and tell them like what's going on with you, or whatever that your feelings gives you information. And then it opened up, it created a whole different space where people started talking about fear. And then a fear club was happening at the table. Like I'm holding space for fear club, and the fear club was happening at the table. And I had this experiential distinction in my bodies that creation is not separate. It's like, okay, when I'm in the fear club, I'm creating fear club. And then I go to my life, and then I'm Gabriela again. Right there, I was being fear club space holder. And so there's no separation of identity. When you become a creator, you become the underlying structure to life go through you, through your impulses. So when I think about the beginning of this journey, it's mainly about how to untie and to unlock the fierceness of the river of impulses that comes from your being in your archetypal lineage. These are some of the thoughts that are like going for me in the last week when I put the attention in that possible space we are co-creating. What else comes through you about the context? Or
so what I hear is like, or just to grab it up, is that what I hear from you and how it's landing in me, that like you create by being in the presence, and that having this flow running through you, or this flow, this force of creation running through you. And for me, this is the second phase of working with fear. So that and that's why it, like, for me, it's like, yes, so that's this distinction. Like people need to know already the first phase, that they can recognize the fear, feel the fear, and then really use it to navigate and extract the information and just go there. And I see that in the first like following this, what you said about what is blocking me being, because for me it's very related to this hit of the bottom map. The fantasy world, you have the swamp and you have the reality. Yeah, so when I'm in the reality, this is the only one place where I can create, because the swamp and the fantasy world is the illusion. So I can't create from the illusion, because I can't, it's not possible, it's not real. The only place real is the reality now. And this is the scary place. And this is this place where all these impulses are coming. So what it's coming to me is to like similar in the Fear Club, that also is to discover what is blocking me from being in the reality. So what is blocking me from being in this space of unknown, because they are the strategy. And I discovered that besides the strategies of numbing the fear, going into the swamp or the fantasy world is also the strategy. It's a strategy to not be in the fear of unknown, the fear of being in a reality, because this is so scary, because we have never been there. And it's not possible to be there because it's all the time unfolding and all the time new. And there's a question in me, like, how can we hold space, or what are the practices for people to, or maybe I give the context. What I noticed, what I discovered is that even if people are in a reality and they hit the bottom, they stay there for the short period of time. And how we can make the practices to, or experiments to, so that we can stay there longer. And it's very similar for me to this tension of creation, you know, like the space of in between what's now and what's possible. And this is very intense. And for that, we need to increase our capacity of feeling fear so that we don't escape from this space, because it's like it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot for the system. And then what's coming to me already, like the answer for that is to learn and practice how can I hold that big amount of fear in my system, so that my automatic reaction is not escaping from that. So how can I really do nothing? Because what we do with this when we feel it is we want to do something with this energy directly, like this force of creation. And then we want to do something, right? Like, because it's too much. So, and it comes to me like the practices from the Peaceful Warrior that I was now with Samoto and Dagmar. And they're really working with the structure inside, inner structure of what to do with rage and what to do with the fear from inside, so that I allow this, what is coming through me, to flow without pressuring myself, without escaping from that, just doing nothing. How to be scared and have the high intensity of fear and be relaxed. So that's because the tension, what makes is it blocks. The tension is blocking the flow. And then we start to operate from mind, from what we know, instead of from what the fear is bringing. Practices of space where people can experience this new map of low intensity fear, which doesn't mean it's not intense. What I mean is that doesn't have to be high in expression, but the energy is huge, even if it's 2% of fear.
Yes. Yeah. And super intense.
Yeah, exactly.
2% of fear can be super intense.
Yes, exactly. And then I would like to go there. And then, because this is this percentage of fear and this intensity that gives this full flow of creation. Like this is the gateway for me to unfold this space. Yeah, without going into the emotions or overwhelming, or and how to hold this space.
And there are strategies should not be in that small percentage of fear. In my, in the Fear Club, what I'm discovering is that I have strategies to feel more fear or to create more fear. So I'm not in that 10%, 5%, 1% fear. That really is really subtle, but for my being is more intense, because my being is more sensitive than my box, than my survival strategy. So part of this productivity or this doing that I was sharing before is to create more fear, is to it's like in the system, like in capitalism, that they create this overproduction, so there's profit and there's competition. and scarcity. So I'm experiencing the same thing with the fear, is that when I create more fear, the same thing operate in my system when I'm in scarcity, and I think is this and I don't drop into the stillness of the stillness of this low percentage fear that bring more information about the now, or about the second, or about the question to ask, to open the space, or the place to go, or the next move. And it's been so it's bringing me so liquid to not create more fear, but to open my body to the fear that already exists in the now, and the amount of aliveness that I'm experiencing that is different than the gremlin aliveness that I thought it was aliveness before.
Yeah, you go.
Yes, and another thing that I think it would be like, this is space, I see it as two dance of two forces. One force is this, what you're speaking about, stretching the capacity, having practices to work with the feelings, and is stretching the capacity to feel consciously in low percentage, like preparing the territory. And the another one is collaboration and teamwork and challenges. I see like challenges and hired agreements and kick on the ass and uh dragon speaking, and this really energy of like like chaos, like a chaotic energy. I think this space to work, it takes to be chaotic in some sessions, not all maybe, but at least half of it.
Yeah, I totally agree with this. Yeah, because also from that the information come in. Do you know this is the space of that Eva Daubert is now holding space? It started in the Woman on Earth Lab, the space of what I want.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is like you speak with the anger for 15-20 minutes of I want. And there's so much clarity coming. Like, what do you want? And like being specific. So what you do, how you do it, with who you do it, and this we can use as in some moment to get the clarity. Okay, so what do you do next? Yeah. So what and then this, what you say, like collaboration starts. And I say it like in the middle, like somehow in the middle of this journey. Like, so also to use the fear of asking for collaboration or proposing, like sensing with who I want to collaborate when my fear is guiding me. Like it can be someone in the group, but it can be also out of the group. It doesn't have to be in this group only. There's a tension and relaxation. Yeah, so it's like you build up the energy, like there is this force, and then you have okay, like the next step, you do the next step, and there is like a relaxation. Okay, I let this energy, I turn this energy into the creation, and then again like tension, and then again you turn it into the creation. So there's the relaxation, and this is so natural in our biomechanic in our body. There is tension and the relaxation, like our heart is moving like that. There's this tense and relax, and the same with our spinal cord, and where's the nervous system and the fear is going. So it's all the time this movement. Yeah, and for me it gave so much. When we did this practice of allowing this movement to happen in the body, it completely landed in me completely different. What is rage about? What is fear about? And that it, because exactly before I was doing that from the place from outside, from the place of a pressure. Like I wanted to create, I wanted to feel fear. I wanted to raise my fear. I wanted to raise my anger, and I was doing, this is what you said at the beginning. I was doing that instead of me allowing this to happen. And then and for me, this creation, it's very related to relaxation. It's completely opposing to pressure and doing. It's completely opposite. It's a creation from the place of relaxation and this peacefulness, like I would say, like without this forcing myself, it just happens. And this is what I really would like to explore and land somehow in us, in all of the people that are in this space. The beginners, that people who start to work with feelings and wasn't in a rage club or feed clubs like this. First, what is the emotional. It's emotional fear, emotional anger, emotional sadness, and this high intensity. And this is needed to like clear the pipe, yeah, to lower the numbness bar, to have the access to this low intensity of feelings. And yeah, and then that's why it's come again, like that's why I see this space for people who are already farther in the path, like not the beginners of the feelings work. And
Yes, I agree with that.
yeah.
And when we are speaking, it feels like 3 months.
Yeah.
And I heard if you fear about that, will you say more? Like what are the intelligence of your fear about being 3 months?
I sense it's fear 3 months. My fear is telling me 3 months. It's just my box is freaking out with such a long commitment. Yeah. Because when I was thinking like, oh, so let's make it, my box is saying, let's make it 2 months. But then I feel, no, it's not enough. Like my fear is telling me it's not enough to do this, what this space is about. Yeah. So, and 3 months sounds accurate for this journey. It's literally a journey.
I was reading that book, Original Wisdom. This book is about a Malay guy, a man that goes to a Malay village, and he writes this book sharing all the notices and discovery about this village. There is a specific part of the book that he asked for the children in this village to draw, like he give a blank piece of paper to these children, and he says, draw something. For 242 children. And they like 1 or 2 draw something. And he's shocked that the children could not draw something. And then he said, okay, I will try something else. And then the next day he goes with a blank piece of paper, and he say, draw a house. And all the children draw something. They draw a house. And it's almost similar. And they are in a village that is like, they don't go to school, like monoculture school, but it's like we are trained to not be creators. And to be and to go from the place where we know.
Yeah.
So for example, we are creating this context or this call now, and I can feel the tendency of my box to write it down, everything that we are speaking, and then having already the distinctions, and then like writing the invitation for this space, and then arriving it in the first session, and then okay, we'll speak about this and this, and this will be the first step, and this is this place of that is so cozy and comfortable, instead being this emergency that is a blank piece of paper, and there's always something that will come, and the fear of reliance, leaning back in the fear and in the source, and then go, and then lean back again, and then go. And I'm discovering it's like a fractal. So I'm discovering side of it. So the space is not about possibility management anymore.
You mean it's about tools?
Yes, it's not about the tools.
Yeah.
It's invention. So this is what turns me on about the space, or this is my yes, is to experience it while living it. Or I can feel we are doing it now, like I am experiencing what is this space about by being that call with you right now, and the container we are creating with the words, with the energy, with the intention, and the willpower of discovering it.
Yeah, and I feel so much joy of this. Like it's, yeah, I feel my lineage is now really like, yay! Like it's like I want that. Like I want this. And this, yeah. Yeah. And now there's this question in me like coming like, oh, how to put it in words. How to put it in words so that we make an invitation. You know, it's because we need to make some description of this space. That it's
We posted this video. I don't know if you remember, but you're recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's because this space is not defined, as you said, like it's not defined space. Like I can feel the flavor of it. And it's the flavor that it's experiential.
It's coming a picture of caldeirão. How is that word in English? Is, you know, the witches has a pot.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and 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 the big pot.
Yeah.
And this big pot, it's like this shape, and then it's like this. It's like a vessel, and it's empty. And I see that space as this vessel that has somehow this structure that we are creating like 3 months. And there's a first phase that is this preparation to start to make it more empty, your inner caldeirão, your inner space, and growing your capacity.
Yeah.
And there's a space of chaos, of putting different ingredients and movement. And there's a space of tasting or proving or gifting or birthing. And that's it. Like that, and besides that, there's nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that the flyer even could be something like that, like that space for contained chaos.
Mm. And it's in this what you're saying is like it looks like there is kind of a structure, like these 3 phases of the space. Yeah, so like this preparation, chaos, and tasting. Like so.
Yeah, the structure is like what gives the mold so the things can go into.
Yeah, and be cooked and then like
Yes.
create something. Yeah, something different than separate ingredients.
Yeah, if it's not contained, it's like when the everythingness don't have the anger to contain the everythingness, it becomes the unconscious everythingness.
Yeah.
Which is destroying, killing, controlling, like mess, and not giving a fuck for where the mess is going. So the containment, this 10% containment, is what it needs to the thing be cooked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is the rage that is holding that space.
Yeah. And the context.
Yeah.
I want to do at least one introduction to deepen more that research, like to unfold more in practice.
Yeah, I see it especially, at least one of that, especially about this first phase. So like, because in each of us, well, maybe not each of us, but what like the humankind are here for evolution. And then to allow us the evolution to happen, we need to have this force of creation. Like the force of creation is very linked to evolution. So we evaluate by creating. And I sense that most of us, maybe some people not, but most of us have this natural urge for creation. And then there are so many things that are in the way. So it could be, the introduction can be about this topic, to research like I sense it's like a longing for creation, for having input, for making a change, for evaluate and
When you say evaluating, it is evolving.
evolving, yeah, for evolution, yeah. So so the space can be to contact more with this longing and to seeing the pain of not allowing myself to let this force flow through me because of many things. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm so excited about this space because it's for me, it's like something that drives me and creates and that drives me on. I love this force. I'm in love with this force of creation. I'm glad that there are more free clubs happening.
Yes. I'm glad I discovered the passion for Fear Club. I had such a resistance about fear, holding Fear Club 6 months ago.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I'm only a Rage Club space holder, and I want to even discover other stuff because Rage Club for me is not enough. And then I held my first Fear Club and it was a disaster. It was like really awful in the sense that I was so blocked and so in my mind and so much in stuck. And then I did an introduction where I decided I will have fun with fear. And I want to discover the joy in feeling the fear because from the 4 feelings was the one that I most hated or had resistance to. And when I started having the yes to discover, I started discovering the facet of fear of not so much because I already heard fears for creation, fears for connection, fears for love, but I did not experience. For me, I just experienced fear as frozenness or as control or as deadness. So it's like that I started unfreezing the ice in my Alaska, and then it started flowing as a river again, and now it's just so ecstatic because when I connect with fear or invite people to connect with fear, there's so much intimacy happening and closeness. Like it's bringing people around me and myself to me, my body close. And I was longing for it. I was missing that quality in my life.
Yay, I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear it. I'm so glad that you are a space holder for Free Club.
Yes. And I want more fear clubs to happen.
Yay.
So I'm glad you're creating a creation space.
Yes.
And I would love to open a space for talk logistics as we are going to the end.
Yes, I have the same.
Flipping over. We begin with creation and then we go to logistics.